Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to bring you another week of racing for SSRL's Division 1 on this fine Monday evening for what is going to be race 14 out of 16 at the end of our 5th season with the mandatory 2-stop races. And we could be looking at another world champion for Division 1, which was originally no stabilizers allowed before we headed into this. The first official season where SSRL had two divisions, and we're going to be probably crowning Andy Andre to the title here as, we have just 3 races left with a minimum of 77 points available for 3 race wins and 3 fastest laps. He is currently followed by Ferguson, and we will look into that soon. This is the calendar. Tonight is going to be the Dutch GP at Zandvoort, and then we have the United States Grand Prix in Miami, and that is going to be on this weekend as well. So that's tying in nicely. And the finale is going to be Silverstone with the full qualifying session, just like we had at the end of every quarter so far. And then we have our off season, and we'll be heading into the new game and the new season as well sooner rather than later. Let's pick the race result out from last time. And if you miss me, I have to say, as expected, kinda, David did a very good job on replacing me for Monday. I was off for Easter holiday in Germany with friends, and enjoyed that one. And now I'm back, and if in case you missed it, we saw an incredibly lucky win from Andy. 2 driver penalties, but 3 more safety cars to save him and give him the win on the final lap of the race, overtaking Ferguson into the 27th and final corner, with him having no chance to fight back. And there it was the only real chance Ferguson had, with Andy being absurdly far behind in 15th after serving 2 drive-throughs. You have to say luck didn't drive his car, but there was certainly an amount of luck in there, and he also said that in the post-race interview. Ferguson, therefore, his second race chase, took his first podium of the season, going up 10 positions and taking the drive of the day with Quincy 4th. GR1 Racing, who took second in quali, was leading for a short amount of time into 5th. Moksha 6th because he crashed himself and David out at the start of the final lap, left him way too little space after moving to the inside, the middle of the track before heading into turn 1. 7th Andrew, 8th for Kwan, huge result for Alpine. David, then Verdugo, huge points again for Haas, only finishing, racing every race. Quite consistent, this guy. Krankjok, Seibo, Rush was also affected after colliding with Kovachka. Jonathan, Jamaican Jam on his, I think, debut that was. Kovachka, no points. Takajino crashed. And Big Bruiser as well as Bavish did not have good races. The Drivers' Championship looks like this. We have a 60-point gap, so you can see where I was coming with that from in terms of the championship. It can be done tonight. Moksha in 3rd, 101 points out of Quincy, who has moved by on Andrew Control, who isn't racing actively anymore. Race chase up by 3 himself, with Energetic, Rowley and Kovachka separated by 1 point. Then we have Rush, Danger David, who's not a full-time driver and will be missing just like as he is in Division 2. Very different competition for him there. Crank York, Jonathan Kwan round out your top 15. Verdugo, Tak and Gino, Daryl Vincenzo, and then reserves including Robertian, Bevish, GR1, Scott Dempsey, Ibo up by 4. Good result for him. Snake, ADS, Diego Andrew, who will be racing again tonight, Bosnian, and T-Bran. And we have the Constructors' Championship that is pretty much settled. Williams, 428 points, 346 to Mercedes, and then it's still quite close between Ferrari, McLaren, Aston Martin, Red Bull, Sauber, Alpine, and Racing Bulls. You have to say they are only separated by roughly 70 points. But if one can score big, they can all change positions quite drastically. You have to say Ferrari with the biggest buffer. And then it's close between McLaren, Aston Martin, and Red Bull. And then the next three are closer together, but nothing is impossible. And reserves also score points, which is going to be interesting for tonight, as well as we have the arrival of a new reserve that is certainly looking fast, as we have an overheated PlayStation on someone's end. That is unfortunate. And we are in fact 19. No replacement found for the second Aston Martin. And yeah, we have drivers already out on track. And let's start with the usual attendance here, as we have Crank York on his home race, racing for Mercedes. Let's see what he can do together with our probably a very likely world champion at the end of this. Yeah, that's the Mercedes team for you. And it's the only Aston Martin and Andrew. With McLaren, with the guy I was telling you about, who is on intermediates, to check for force feedback. Jumbo is gonna be, that's weird to say, I've had someone in my league who is also named that. Jumbo is racing as reserve for McLaren, but he's also pushing on this lap. So let's see what he can do. Tires are very soft in terms of their component structure, but obviously have some holes in them to spray away or dig away at the water, if there was some, which isn't the case for qualifying right now. I fear that Ibo is not going to be this time. Let's see. And he has a time on the board, 1 minute 11.9. That is already very fast. Quincy only is 17.7. Okay, Jonathan is also here, so that's a McLaren for you. As Bruiser has retired. As Andy goes to the top. Okay, I don't know why, but that's Bruiser and, as I said, Andrew for your Red Bull pairing for tonight. Quincy and Rolly as a reserve again. Outlap here for him. V-Cup is running with Sir Ibo. And there's Energetic, also a driver living in the Netherlands, spawned there, so another guy with a home race. We have a Russian series currently in the pits with Kwan, his brother, as a teammate, also in the pits, P18 so far. And the Williams boys second and third with 0.7 of a second between Moksha and Andy. Already quite dooming. ADS and Veroduco have taken once again the Haas into the session. And Kovachka as well as Race Chase. Officially a reserve driver, but scoring big points for the team. Last time out in Jeddah. Let's see. Energetic closing off his lap to go to 1 minute 11.7. As who is that car across the line? Moksha is going again. Fallison pit lane question mark? Exclamation mark. Reduku goes again. Okay, let's stay with ADS maybe for one lap here. Let's see the circuit through. 75 meter is your braking point for turn 1. Uses 4th gear maximum traction. You have a lot of traction as you run very almost maximum downforce, and he crashes out after losing the car into turn 3 and the Haas driver's out. No higher than P18 if everyone else is completing a lap. Huge moment that you can have there if your setup is not set up correctly. Not so sure what that is causing, but probably something to do with the differential. As you're not really, you're just turning in with a little bit of braking to complete the turn in. For turn 3, as the real braking is actually done in the banked turn of turn 3. And now I'm interested to see how our new guy is coming along. Especially after... Okay, Moksha closed down the gap to 3/10, but that's still some time. In terms of F1... Oh, Bruiser has disconnected and got... he got the DNF because of the disconnect bug. Okay, let's ride on board with the car that was very dominant in the race last year and is currently the team to beat in the hands of Oscar Priasti on board with Chamber now, currently down in P12. Takes a lot of inside curb here next to the wall on the pit exit, which is surprising to me. Now this is how you bring the car in, maximum turn and for rotation as he steers to the complete opposite lock. This is a flat part as he is 7/10 up on his previous best. Uses one downshift. Now swings the car in, fully commits in 6th gear. That's very nice to see. Slight over correction on the steering, so the car turns in on the spot, which is something obviously drivers have reported they don't like to see, but you can still enjoy the race without, or enjoy racing this game without doing this. You're just not as fast as this guy, as the second Red Bull has crashed, but this time out on track. Uses a lot of inside curb and gets it wrong on the exit. And that's an invalidation from the young Brit, who was raced in another league with Quincy, hence why he's here tonight. Kovachka invalidation, and Fallison is on a lap, who just made the switch to PC. The reason why he's not actually named Fallison as of right now. Our driver to watch out for in terms of the championship fight that is quite over obviously, but and he needs to be out of any of the next 2 races, I would say, if Fallison doesn't have a stinker. Gets him very slow on rotation, but he's a bit faster. 4th gear is committed, I have to say, but doesn't really help with the turn in. Uses 5th gear, doesn't use the inside curb, doesn't run wide because of this. He's gonna be improving his time, but not by much, as Rowley has slotted himself into 4th. Not even a full 10th for him, sorry. As also Rush is going out again. Crank York. I know Rush was completing a warm-up lap. As the only driver not to have set a time that still can do it is Sebo, who should be doing that. And get a time on the board and start from 16th. And the rest isn't necessarily faster behind him. Quan also in 11th, which is nice. Oh, and this brother gets it all wrong at the exit. Oh, we didn't talk about the track map. I don't know which corner that is. I think 9. I think that's turn 9. Let us check quickly. That's the track map for tonight, and that was in fact exit of 9. 2DS zones, which is the extended one that we had to previous iterations of this track, especially after it came back in 2021. Very long as the final turn, the banked turn, is flat out anyway, and then you have very technical first sector, and there's basically no overtaking in the second one as well. Only if you have a huge pace advantage after turn 10. Medium to high speed corners really don't work for overtaking, and this track is gonna be gone after 26. Unfortunately, there's no good replacement inside, as Madrid is gonna be taking one of the, I would say, especially for league racing, better tracks. And I sincerely hope it's not raining tonight, because it can be chaotic, but I don't think it's gonna be rich of overtakes. So yeah, that is your 14 turns of the Zandvoort circuit, as we have it right in front of us with Sebo now out on track, and our Dutch hometown favorite in Krankjorg next to Energetic, as Andy puts in a 9.002. Could have saved him that 2,000th of a second. 1.5 seconds faster for Krankjorg. Finds himself only 3 tenths behind Quincy. That is certainly not the usual inside of this season. Rather unprecedented sight. And Kovačka is now running for a second attempt with 5.5 minutes to go. And gets it a bit... Oh, sorry. Gets it a bit wrong. For no rain forecast so far. Okay, yeah. I appreciate you telling me this, but at the same time, I don't want to be spoiled. So, ADS, I'm sure you just meant it in a nice way, but this is just my personal preference for casting. So, please don't tell me in the future if you are not longer participating in the session. And thank you for that, as Kovačka is now running into the third sector, 3 tenths up as Quincy has retired. So, he can be beaten, in fact, by Kovačka here, as he is running towards the last 2 turns. Jumbo got it wrong here and is still yet to find a time. And the Hungarian driver in the Kick Sauber abandons his lap. So he wasn't happy with the end of the lap. Maybe that chicane was too tricky for him. He didn't feel like it. I keep it to myself. That is very much appreciated, and wishing you the best out there for the race, as Sebo is retired with no time as well. The third driver to crash it here today. I don't think Veraduca is going to be there fast enough, as Fellison takes a very wide exit line. The usual upside line, where you run on the high end of the bank curve. That is run by the drivers, but not by league racers. And Fellison has abandoned this one. Let's see with Veraduco. Is that an in-lap, a fast lap? Bit late for a fast lap to switch to anything in terms of engine power. Okay, now the fast driver. I have to say, it's quite close between 7th and 3rd as of right now. And I really want to see this lap now. Fully committed push from Jumbo. Oh. Is he finding it a bit rough out there, I wonder, today? And that is no ERS usage on this lap. So currently P14, based on what I've seen and heard. He's not going to be staying in that for too long, but He should be getting out there and at least start in the top 3 if he wants a realistic chance of surviving the first lap. Because I think we will be getting an early safety car as his teammate, his full-time teammate, is just a couple of hundreds down on what is P9 and 2/10 off of P8, but then there's a second of a gap to Energetic as Rolly has decided to call it a day. No improvement for him coming in the next 2.5 minutes, plus the extension time, the overtime. See what the Sweet can do. A bit of exit curb on turn 10 is not great for your lap time. He still has found a 10th here, as he has dived himself into the chicane with improved curves, which is certainly lovely to drive. More than the 2021 version of this in the game. It never has, never had big curbs like we had in the previous versions before this year's game. So yeah, finally you can race it like it feels probably in real life. He has improved past Quincy. 4 thousandths of a second ahead, which is nice. Let's see, where are these drivers? Andy is trying to find more time on what is probably his final push lap. Coming towards the line, can he find a time inside of the 1 minute 8? And that is not the case for the Romanian Championship contender and leader. Who is... That looks slow. That wasn't faster. Energetic 7th, but he's nowhere currently. Jumbo's now gonna finish off his lap. And he is into 2nd. 2/10 behind Andy. Which is a surprise. And I have to say, Russian Series up there is also good for the competition. Looks like it's gonna be a banger for tonight. Krankjork over the line to start another attempt. Same goes for Andrew as Kwon heads into the pits. So what's with Moksha? Into the pits. Don't think there's an improvement coming. Energetic. Can he give the hometown fans something to cheer about? He can! He's only half a second off of pole time, finds 3/10 and is into the top 5. Lovely stuff from Energetic. I think the rest is in lap, so we stick with Krankjork as the checkered flag is out. Let's see if any drivers will find something. I think Race Chase and only Krankjork have realistic chances of doing so. The rest completed their last attempts early. 2/10, yeah, would help him. Put another 10th onto that and he's inside the top 10, which would be quite a result for Krankjork. Hasn't had the pace overall for the season and didn't contribute to the Mercedes team points that much. Fell a bit at the end, 2.5 seconds faster, just over the line versus Kovachka, but you can see 3 drivers on a 0.6 there as the upper class of the field is separated by half a second between Rowley on a 9.7 and Chambo on a 9.2. I think we should be done. We are, in fact, and that is another pole position to Andy Andre. Let me check the stats sheet for you. That is... Oh, I think I didn't update it after Japan. Let me check. It's gonna be more than that, I feel. Did he take pole? Yeah, he took pole in Japan. 5. Yeah, so I was missing 2, which is fine. So 2 more then. So this should be his 8th pole, if I'm not mistaken. Andy Chamber, Moksha Fellison, Williams back together, Energetic Rush, Race Chase, Andrew Rowley, then bigger gap to Jonathan Quincy is down there. Didn't complete a final run. Cranko, very good. Kovaska, Veriduku, Juan, and the next 4, including Bruiser, ADS, Sir Ibo, and Andrew, did not finish a lap time inside of the session. And we will be heading to a quick break as we await the start. Stay tuned. And we are back after short break. We are waiting the race start to this one. And if you are new to this, welcome, first and foremost. I'm just gonna copy the Dave instruction here. League racing usually involves 50% races where you have to stop, just like in real life, at least once. For this season, we're not called silly season for nothing. You have to stop at least twice. And with these clouds, you still need to do that, disregarding any change of weather. And I think most of them are gonna use a very soft compound for the start, as the soft is not as viable as in previous years. But I can see drivers running this to get by on the start, have a better getaway, and if there's rain forecasted, have a fast first stint and especially a good launch to get by and move into a nice position. And undercuts are huge here. Tire warm-up is not great for the first sector, but these tires are worn, and obviously the air strains are going to be important. Both the air zones are close together when you are on the lap. After that, you have chances to get away for roughly 8 turns. So let's see, Chambo against our probable world champion Andy Andre against Chambo for the lead of the race as we get underway for the Dutch GP here in season 5, and Chambo is right fully alongside. Under braking, Moksha's closer, the German challenging the Brit here, but they stay in the positions. They started in rush, is trying to have an alternative line into the first banking of turn 3, but cannot get anything done against Moksha, against Energetic. Andrew up into 14th already. Most of them on the soft, only Veraduk and Kovetska. That suggests to me either the soft is very viable or it's actually going to be raining soon, which is fair. We are on the coast of things, so let's see what is happening here. Half a second. Oh, there's an attack by Energetic. Rushes into the rear of Ferguson, and that opens, in fact, the door for Rush, who takes now 5th position away from the Dutch driver. As the top 4 have stayed the same, is there an opportunity now with that extended run inside of the slipstream of the car ahead? That was obviously also true for previous years, but now on this lap DS is enabled, and you have a longer phase where you have the gap in the rear wing open. A couple of gaps have already formed. Crush almost out of the DRS, and there's now a swap. Jonathan and Andrew. Andrew who's taking the outside, the inside, then the outside, and ahead of the McLaren. And that is good points for Red Bull, who will need them as Bruiser is currently not scoring any, and he's going off, collecting some stones on the beach, which is usually forbidden these days. Chem is still with Andy. I don't expect anyone to make moves inside of the second sector, so forgive me if I don't switch here. I predict that usually the back end causes more chaos inside of a second sector, but Chem is racing already into turn number 1, is staying back, didn't open up the ERS system that much, and Andrew is now attacking Energetic, but the line was well held by the V-Cup driver, but he's losing touch to the top 5, and I don't think he was on pace with them despite good qualifying. And maybe he's not into the rhythm, who knows. Bit of sun is coming through at stages here, so usually suggests that there's no rain actually coming. Let's see. Obviously can save a lot inside of this second sector in terms of battery. People are not moving past you even if they have higher ERS modes enabled. Williams are following through here. Obviously at some stage they have to think about it. Swap him when they swap at the front. A second place here for Andy and a third place for Ferguson is probably helping. Haven't done the math. Andrew fastest lap as Chambo was trying to make it work around the inside. As more fighting has commenced. Energetic unable to have a direct response to Andrew, as he has stayed in 7th on that opening turn of the lap. As midfield cars have formed a train now, and after that there's a slight one. Kovetska is leading Jonathan, the rest is more gaps to their names, so we are obviously interested at or towards the front. Don't think anyone is lunging it here, only on the last lap maybe. Well, I even would say that the last opportunity is really on the straight. We have seen multiple drivers take better positions or find a position of their front man. And that included Pleasant Snake and Russian Series, as now Chambo is fully alongside. Is he gonna dare to do it, or there's a late move by Moksha? Is compromising his own braking ability, and now there's a chance for Rush, and Rush is taking in a crucial state of this race, a position away from Fallison, as Andy was past. Williams needed to swap, but Moksha went completely deep and screwed both of them over, resulting in a position loss for the guy in second in the championship. Does Moksha feel like there is more to his pace? Fallison is trying it around the outside. Rush is holding that a bit. Has huge ERS disadvantages. This track is not good for racing, you have to say. Switchback may be coming here, but I don't see it really happening. Oh, that's lovely. Chambo is moving across, faking a pit lane entry, and Moksha goes around to take second off the McLaren, as Rush is fighting that on the outside. Very nice. But the long way around isn't working in league racing. I don't know why, but it just is what it is. Is there a problem? Chambo feels slow. Andrew is already up into 7th. I didn't know he was that fast. Didn't strike me as a fast driver when he... Oh, Energetic is off! Not at his home race! Stay on the track, my guy! Energetic is fighting Chankyo for literally 11th position. That's funny in the context of the league inside of the season. Andrew, what is my guy doing? He's quick. I think he's in the bottom 25 or something. And Energetic has another problem. Went wide again. Say something a Dutch to help your chances, my guy. Rush is trying it around the outside. Gets it on the grass. Probably thinks he wasn't given any space. As he loses now the position to Fallison, which is going to be crucial now. This is crunch time. Moksha needs to get by on Andy. And then Fallison on Chambo. And there's still a chance. So if Andy would win, that's 25 to his name. As the gap is 60. There's only 52 left to go, which would crown him champion. Yeah, he needs to score. Fallison needs to outscore him, and he needs less than a certain amount, which is... well, outside the top 5, which he's currently running in quite comfortably. I'm surprised no major incidences, as we have approached lap 8 with these top guys. And now Andrew is going by on Andrew. Andrew is going by on Andrew. Andrew, as there's a collision with Rolly in the back, and there's the major first incident I wanted to talk about. 10 seconds to Rolly as his collision with Race Chase. And now he's completely off the road and the group has separated. Andrew was trying to defend the inside from Andrew. This is so... why did you... what is with these Romanian guys naming themselves Andy, Andrew and Andrew? What the fuck? Guys, come on. Anyway, the Red Bull was going around the outside of the Aston, who defended from the approaching Ferrari and then was hit. I think Rolly turned in too early. Now Quincy has a door open, and there's another incident by Energetic, who doesn't seem to be enjoying this home pressure maybe. And there's another spin. Oh my word. 10-second penalty for Fallison. Oh no! Braking is still the same as in Xbox. You know where the brake pedal is. Was there wing damage? Was there wing change? No, it was just the lack of synced up pit stop. Softs off for Fallison as well as for Rush, and that's a huge bummer. That is basically championship to Andy. Oh my word. Why? And the undercut attempt is now running. They need to be responding to that at the front. Or you're out of the DRS window. See what the response at the top is. As Fallison goes by Kovachka, one of his best mates. And the response is there. And also Andrew is not waiting on that. Quincy is not waiting on that. Only race chase is continuing. But that was... no. Kovachka, his teammate, and Veroduku were in the softs. Let's see, Fallison is getting repassed by Kovachka. That is not helping at all, yeah. And there's a collision, and Rush is through as well. And Andy stayed out, so Moksha is ahead of Chambo. Rush taking Kovachka. Yeah, this race is just completely going the opposite way of what Fallison needed. After Andy was not leading the race for a short amount of time. So no direct response. Energetic has retired from the session, but I don't see any yellow on the track. So that might be in the pits. Very unfortunate. As Brewster comes in as well. Is there a response from Andy? No, there is not. He is staying out on these softs, which I find surprising. DS is very close to the apex there on the inside. DS also for Kovachka as Jonathan makes his way in, as did Race Chase. Jonathan also with 10 seconds. Jesus. Is it 60 here? No, they changed that to 80, no? It's still 60 here. Yeah, makes sense. You basically cut the inside line of turn 1 completely. And there is Rody with a yellow flag, briefly caused by him. Now Andrew is trying to get by on Veroduko, who is on use mediums, as I said before. The only driver. Rear wing damage. Yeah, I'm sorry for you. Was that because of you? Then no wing into the pit lane. Okay. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. And Andy is now answering the call to pit. Then the word came to me. It spoke to you. Come home. Energetic. And then something in Dutch, I don't know. Luckily no SC, that's great. Chambo is taking second away as Andy is out of the pit lane and gets passed by everyone. Is into 5th position. And has tires that are 2 and 3 laps younger than the guys ahead. But if there's a safety car, it might also be the only safety car, then he will not benefit from that. Only when Williams is gonna be double stacking that. Going to sleep. See you tomorrow. Have a good night, Energetic. Hoping for a better race next time in Miami for you. Or tomorrow, if that works for you, for your work schedule. Fallison was taking an alternative line here at turn 10. As the top 4 have obviously settled now. Rush Currently not the driver with the time penalty, but unfortunately the most important guy in terms of our championship fight and positioning. Andrew could get by here, but Andrew in the Aston did. And now Moksha is taking the lead from Chambo, and Rush is thinking, yeah, I'm gonna take that invite as well because you don't have any DRS on the straight and you are slow. Because now Veriduko is into the pit lane from his medium stint for the opening 13 laps, and Rush is fighting Chambo on the curb. There was almost a high-speed collision for both of them. There's no space out there. I'm still interested to see if the weather's gonna change. Huge curb skate there from Rush. And now Chambo gets by. Let's see if Fallison has an opportunity. He needs to be serving 10 seconds. And he kind of needs a safety car to maybe do what Andy did to him last time out. Oh god! Oh my word, and Rush has crashed it! And Fallison is immediately punished by it as well! Rush completely lost it on the exit! Off the almost in... Yeah, that is such a tricky curb. And he completely lost it, and Fallison, he's so lucky not to have a DNF there instantly. And Rush came... Yeah, okay, Rush came off better than him. And sorry, my German came immediately through. First reactions are always naturally in your first language, I guess. That is our championship match point going to Andy. If nothing crazy happens. Which, let's be honest, really did not happen as of last time out. That was really the first one that went crazy. Top 2 change again. Chambo and Moksha swap. There's no real other fight going on, I assume. Andrew is continuing with his damaged wing, which is hurting him probably, but obviously is not too bad for a track that has a lot of high-speed right-hand side corners to race with a wing that is missing on the right-hand side. Incredibly frustrating here. As there's a change. As Bruiser got lapped? Yeah, Bruiser got lapped. And Fallison is down to 15th. Is he trying to go the long way on these mediums? They are fresh. And Kovacic got it completely wrong. As the top 3 have changed again. Andy and Moksha going by on Chambo. I think he is completely choosing to lift off ERS. And there's another spin, this time by Rowley. Same position as Kovac got just milliseconds before. So yeah, Chambo is turning down ERS on the main straight and then is getting passed by 2 people. Oh, and he gets it wrong! He goes completely over the curb. No, that was the grass. He got it wrong on the grass before the curb even. Oh, there's no curb on the outside. Sliding into the weekend be like. But we have Monday, so... Moksha against Andy Andre. Williams' only hope is left, but honestly, there's no hope left. And he takes a little lead of the race. Tire advantage is probably going to be kicking in. I think they underestimated the traffic jam caused by these drivers when they pitted for the first time. Well, there's a huge gap after this train here, after this one. So you can pit and come out behind them because that is exactly the gap between 18 and 20 seconds. So the only real opportunity for Moksha to win this is pit as soon as it's possible to pit into that gap. And Kwon has taken 13th off of Veroduko, and Ferguson says thank you very much. That open door is for me as well. Needs to be very careful. Huge difference in pace between these two. Kwon just moved himself into the top 15 in the standings with 45 points, as Ferguson is now trying every different line to get by on the brother of the brother and teammate of the guy who caused him to be down there, to the additional 10 seconds worth of time penalty he got by not slowing his car down too much. Halfway distance is already completed, and even in the dry it's a dull race as of right now. Just one nice moment here, and Andrew is racing for his life. Honestly, how is he up in 4th? Yeah, 2 guys crashed. I get that, but yeah, that's the Ibo going out of the way. Very nice as usual, but nothing to be concerned about. I think the escape roads and asphalt runoffs are studied by the Ibo more than by any other driver. And I mean it in a nice way, since he is barely in trouble for not letting people by under blue flags. And his ability to finish races has brought him some nice points, as Race Chase has now finding the opportunity to get by on Quincy. Let's see if his pace on the fresher mediums is to his benefit. Well, it's only a lap, so I doubt that. Let's see who's next. Feathers has 3.6 seconds to Kovachka, who's trying to get by on Jonathan. Goes late, goes deep, hits the McLaren, underbraking, and loses his front wing as, yeah, basically the build to it. Sent it too late, didn't have to turn in, but was given the space and couldn't complete the move in time, which means it was his front wing that suffered. And he's gonna suffer as well now. Front left side end plate is missing, which really hurts you. And Chambo has dropped back by 5 seconds. What on earth did just happen? And now Andrew, not Andrew, you get me? He's fighting that. And Krankog has a nice race on his hand as well. Goes on the inside of the limping Aston Martin, has found some pace. Krankog is really impressing me tonight. As there's a yellow by Bruiser who's facing the wrong way. Is Race Chase next on this nice beach trip Grand Prix by Krankog? And Bruiser did good there to let them by. Is Moksha saving his resources? Doesn't seem like it. He needs them to open up the pace, and Andrew is into the points paying position. from 19th on the grid. How is he doing that? I think I'm not sure if I misread the information we were given when he joined, or I just misremembered it, but I didn't have him in my mind as a fast racer. He's blistering fast. Wow. Great performance by you, my guy. Huge props. And Feddersen into P11. And I was interested to see if he could keep it in front of him. We are close to 2/3 of this race. Let's see what the final stops bring us. We have only Feddersen on the mandatory 2-stop as of right now, with Kovačka now getting a 3-second time penalty for running off the track at the exit of turn 8 and 9. Feddersen is now pushing 5.2 seconds to ADS. I think a final fast stint could help him. Feeling and giving a lot of screen time to drivers that are not usually on screen, and especially since they're also not in a fight. Top 2, 3 and 4 together. Then bigger gaps. Russian series 9 seconds down. Yeah. Safety car would help, I have to say. It's probably still a high intense race for them, obviously. I know this track, very demanding. Although very enjoyable on this game. Moksha still saving behind Andy. Keeping the tires in good shape, no needing to push. And Shambo. Oh, and there's another one off. And that's Bruiser again. 1 minute behind P17, who is already 1 minute behind P16. Oh, there's a spin. Oh, that's Chem. That's Chambo. He has spun himself. Was there a contact maybe with Andrew? We don't know actually. But he has spun it, and I think, at least from my point of view, currently not performing to expectations, was highly praised by Quincy. And I've also seen him race before. Andrew and ADS into the pit lane. ADS also having a quiet but very nice race. And now there's a pit stop between Feddersen and Krankjork. Yikes. Bruiser 10 seconds speeding in the pit lane. Would be fine if you would quit. It would have to continue for experience. Really doesn't help. Oh, that was a huge lag. You also saw that. Is Rush in a position? No. Pit stop. Quincy, don't get undercutted. He gets overtaken then. Krankjork also not in position. Oh no, did Feddersen spin? Who's causing the yellow? That's the elbow. The elbow is going off. Let's see, what is the response? What is the response? Andrew, fresh softs. 12 laps. Sounds fair. I remember having soft to hard available on most of these races as a viable strategy option for what is now 3 years running this track in the game. So yeah, Juan was fighting Rolly here. Is still fighting Rolly. And Rolly got by. Moksha has not pitted yet. Jonathan now also lapped already. And let's see, Andrew. Cruiser 10 seconds again. Race chase into the pits. And Andrew is pushing. Cruiser has retired. Oh, sorry. I think there's a good chance Andrew can make up some time here if they wait too long with that final stop. Obviously, he needs to overtake more people, which were just Crank York 4 seconds ago, basically, in Quincy. That is the tricky bit with racing in Zandvoort. 17 seconds. I'm interested to see if they continue to extend. But I don't think Moksha wants that or shouldn't want that. And in fact dives into the pit lane for that undercut. And Andrew's probably getting held up here a bit. Yeah, certainly. Quincy's tires are way too old now. 15 laps. Alternative line. Oh, there's a collision. High speed contact because he wanted to get by. Quincy just should have taken the inside line as soon as he exited turn 13. Yeah, thank you. We don't want cheap viewers. We want real ones. Andrew, 4 seconds only behind Moksha. Andy is in need to respond to that. Crankirk into the pit lane. As Fallison is coming out behind Quincy. He's on that medium tire. That has lasted 12 laps now. He can complete the race on this one. I'm not so sure if he wants it, but I'm certain he can. And there's the response from Andy. Late pit stops. Now Moksha to the inside. Rush is taking the upper line. Staying out actually. Okay. And Andy is behind. But has tires that are 2 laps or 1 lap fresher than the ones from Moksha. So obviously now trying to push on. I'm surprised why Rush didn't pit. Chambo's now 12 seconds behind Andrew, who's gonna take a 3rd place here today, and certainly the drive of the day. Is Rush gambling on something? Check the gap again. Roughly 19 seconds on top would be out of race chase still. So he's either in 5th or has a fight or a chance to fight for the podium. If there's a safety car now. As they just overtake 1. Because Andrew's gonna catch him anyway. And passing him because of this. Still the final pit stop missing. Ferguson still keeping it with Quincy, racing his first SSRL race on PC. Welcome to the Master Race. But all jokes aside, all gaming consoles are good. Apart from mobile, so fuck mobile games. Enjoy a real one on a console or a PC. Coming into your theaters soon. Yellow flag because Rush went wide, I think. Paired with Sebo running wide as well. Yeah, there's nothing really much going on apart from the fight for the lead. It's interesting. Moksha is currently the chased. And he should be thinking about letting Andy by. That is sometimes an issue because then he has the opportunity to get away. Which he's trying to do now. I have Seen that multiple times in my career. I raced him a lot myself, although it wasn't for Division 1. In Spain, he just followed me throughout the remaining 20 laps or so after a pit stop. And there was only one chance where I could get away after a tussle with Fellison, but wasn't enough. Pace difference wasn't great enough. Which you also need here. The higher your pace advantage, the faster you can get by on people. Rush is actually in front of Quincy and Fellison, as Andy has now the fastest lap upon him, as he pushed down to 40% of ERS, as did Moksha. But he's still inside the DRS, and it's quite strong here. See how it ticks down. Fastest lap by Andy. 6 tenths. Basically 3.5 tenths already. Let's see if Moksha can stick with him. And Andrew seems to be a secured 3rd position for him. After coming from 19th and last on the grid. And Krankyuk also very great drive today. Awesomely executed. Is he done with tires? Everyone is done with tires. The only driver who didn't do 2 stops was Energetic. Who was out before his first one. That's a long way around. Moksha is being sent by Jonathan. Chambo opted for mediums, Chase softs. If he has the pace, he can catch him. Back-to-back top 4 finishes for Race Chase. Is Quincy there to take Rush, who opted for a medium. And Fellison has dropped back massively now. As you can imagine, we just showed you the tire age, oldest tires in the field right now. One of the tracks where when you do a 2-stop, but you do your 2nd stop very early, you can still come away with going long, obviously with less pace, since everyone has more distributed tire lives. Six laps to go. Moksha has managed to stay with Andy. Quincy didn't have an opportunity here to take 6th position away from Rush. I have no idea if there are penalties waiting for any of these drivers, but if not, then yeah, Quincy is solidifying his good position at the what is now 4th position inside of the Drivers' Championship. Energetic crashed, 0 points. Andrew is on 10th, less points. Andrew pitted again. What? Why? And he's getting overtaken by everyone. Need to check if there was wing damage involved. Oh, sorry, that's not pit stops. Soft to medium, medium to soft. No, it wasn't. Didn't he enjoy the challenge? He wants that extra point. Core 10-second time penalty. He's only 2.5 seconds behind Chem. And has the freshest tire in the field. This is crazy. He's going for a 3-stop race without a safety car with 5 laps to go. How crazy is that from 19th in the grid? You missed the V-Cup in the gravel. Or just Ibo, yeah. The other one is out. So I don't really care. Hey Dave, welcome. Yeah, this one isn't going down as a classic, but the driver is certainly. And even if Moksha wins this, And he's gonna be champion tonight for Division 1. There is... who's that? That's Andrew close to Krankjork, and he's actually overtaking him. Still hasn't repaired his front wing. Did you watch Andy's Crusade last week? Yeah. Very lucky, I have to say. I swear to God, if this would have happened to me, inside of any point at the season, 2 driver penalties, I would have gotten a virtual safety car. I'm guaranteeing that. Moksha, 3 more laps to go. Has charged his battery quite nicely. So has Andy. What's with Andrew now? Can he complete the podium now? What a drive it was. Yeah, obviously Luck did drive his car. But I have to say that at least 2 more safety cars was crazy. Very defensive inside line from the McLaren, but he's overtaking has been overtaken there easily by the McLaren, and Rush in the background gone by on Race Chase, who has yet another strong race. 3rd in Jeddah and 6th here today is very good by the American driver. And let's see if Moksha has one final opportunity in him. And he tried to get away a couple of laps ago. Did secure the fastest lap when he had way fresher tires than that. But Andrew has just overtaken Champo and is now probably on the charge to get his 2-lap old soft tires to work. And yeah, I have to say, Andy, obviously huge race from him. Almost did it in Azerbaijan when crashing in quali against me in season 3, but only came home to 2nd. Yeah, Fedderson's won to lose, so it's one of the classic seasons where a driver dominates and nothing goes against him. Like a couple of races he's off the podium, but lowest place finishes P5, and that is insane. 2 more laps to go. Moksha, don't cook your tires. Wait for the right moment. I'm waiting for Andrew to see through on the fastest lap. Best opportunity is still on the final main straight, on the final lap. But if you don't feel comfortable inside of the 2nd to 3rd sector, then maybe you want to go through on this now. Both are using EIS quite heavily, which is kind of more good to Moksha, because then there's nothing in the defense left for Andy. 36 laps, and it all comes down to this. No matter what Moksha does now, Andy will be crowned Division 1 World Champion, and is probably gonna set his sails on completing that segment in Division 2 tomorrow as well. That is a very optimistic line from Moksha here through turn 7. How did he use more battery than Andy? He's in a weaker position than Andy. If Andy can smell this low battery charge on Moksha, he might be winning this. 1 more sector to go at the Dutch Grand Prix. Moksha is fighting the car, is very close to him. The next corner is the most crucial one of his life, probably. So far, at least in SSRL racing. He gets on the throttle, uses all of his power as a big slipstream. Can he get the win on the line? It's not enough. Andy takes the win in Netherlands, in Zandvoort, and crowns himself a world champion for Division 1. Moksha's charge wasn't enough. Andrew didn't complete the fastest lap, it seems. There was just tied by 10th. And is gonna be coming home for a drive worthy of his usual predecessor of Danger David, which place he was taking tonight. 19th on the grid to 3rd. Chambo under expectations in 4th. Rush after collision with Fallerson in 5th. Race Chase great In 6th again, Quincy 7th. And there is Feddersen, first PC race for him in 8th. And over the line were also Jonathan and Verdugo so far. With now Andrew coming home in 9th. Great race from Crank York. Really surprised me in qualifying and now coming home in 10th. ADS also a bad qualifying, crashing out. No time set, coming home in 11th. As Quan and Ibo are through as well. Rowley, big crash with Andrew, and Kovačka is 13th. Champion of the world! Exactly. Absolutely mental drive from Andrew. Yeah. Crazy, crazy drive. And Moksha gets, I think, a second place inside of the season. And the celebrations. Finally, the job is done. I have no idea if Andy plans to do anything silly like I did in season 1. But he's certainly going to be enjoying this one. Tough season. Clinches it at the 14th round of the championship. Later than any driver before, despite his pure dominance. Obviously, due to the length of the season. Moksha, then Andrew. Jumbo Rush, Race Chase, it's Quincy, then Fallison, Andrew Crankirk, ADS, Rowley, Kovačka, Jonathan, Verdugo, Quan. Quani first with no points for tonight's Ibo Bruiser, who decided to call it a day after multiple spins, and Energetic, who had rear wing damage. Yeah, that's not gonna be one of the old-time classics, as I said before, but we certainly have a classic driver. And we were talking to them in a moment. And let's see what he has to say about it. And we will be right back. We are back to some drivers' interviews after tonight's Dutch GP race 14 out of 16 inside of his 5th season for SSRL, and it's finally done. No double drive-through penalty could stop you last time out, and there was no certain German Williams driver stopping you tonight. Andy, you have done it. You are champion of the world for Division 1 inside of this 5th season. How are you feeling after this race? How was the race out there for you? I have to say, it wasn't really entertaining, but I'm sure a driver's perspective is always going to change someone's mind. So let me have something of your race, and obviously a quick resume about how this season went for you and how do you feel after this one.
Yeah, for sure. It was very different from the racing seat. I found it extremely entertaining. I just love the flow of this track, and with a few of the marker boards having been taken out, it made it even more exciting to get the turn in just right into the corners. It was really a great racing experience, and yeah, don't know what to say after today. Very happy with the result. I feel extremely good with the performance. I did make one or two mistakes. I lost it quite badly just before the first pit stop, and came was then undercut by 3 or 4 cars, I think. But still, it worked out in the end. So extremely happy right now.
Yeah, so obviously tires, obviously very interesting topic inside of the season with 2 mandatory stops. We had multiple races inside of the season where you opted to start at least or usually one step harder than your opponents did. What made you feel like the soft was the option for the start only? Maybe today as only 2 other drivers went for the medium at the start, and obviously you going longer helped you, yeah, with tire life. And if you're inside that DS train, you're basically guaranteed to, yeah, not use up your tires too much. So, what was the initial thoughts, especially with these overcast conditions, in terms of the starting tire for tonight's race?
Well, I usually go for the harder compounds, as you said, to keep a fresh set of softs for the end of the race. But for this track, it was suggested as the fastest strategy, 2 sets of soft tires. So, having already uh, one set available for the end of the race, I decided to start on the other set of softs to hopefully try to pull away at the beginning. Uh, yeah, it didn't happen. The others were extremely fast. Congratulations speaking of that to Moksha and Combo for the first stint. It was very enjoyable battles, and also to Andrew for the podium. And yeah, I don't know what else to add. It went pretty good on my part.
Yeah, obviously this was the previous iteration called No Stabilizers Allowed, when we had it from Monday Racing under Fellison's ownership to what is now SSRL's Division 1. The season obviously started out with different drivers being rather close to you, then some also left, including Control and Robustia, and you have not finished below P5 only once there was, and have taken Sig Fast Lap 9 poles and a huge amount of wins. Was there maybe someone like Critical Damage who has challenged you for previous seasons and titles in the said league I was mentioning before? Was he kind of missing? Do you expected more from drivers who also retired early in the season, or did you just felt the car and the game, especially as we were going into the last season of this game, as the next one is just around the corner, was just coming more towards you? Did you practice more? Did you practice less? What was your final approach towards this 5th season here?
I think I did a bit less practice than in the last couple of seasons, but yeah, somehow it felt better overall. Probably also with the setup and the wheel. Somehow it all just came together better than that in the last seasons. But yeah, I'm not sure at this point how I would stack up against drivers like Critical and Robastian. Control sometimes was extremely fast, and yeah, not sure I would still be able to have the results that I had if they were around. But still, I found pretty much every race challenging, and except on one or two occasions, it was close battles all around. So yeah, it was an enjoyable season.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, two more races to go still. Do you plan on doing anything special? Do you plan on racing those two races as well? What is your approach now after everything is wrapped up?
Yes, for sure. I plan to be around. Miami is not one of my best tracks, probably one of my worst. So maybe not expecting the top step there. But yeah, the result I got today pretty much. I'm sure it will make up for that. Winning, I mean, taking the championship with the win is what I was aiming for. So yeah, I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, certainly, always good. Okay, yeah. Well, again, congratulations from myself, and looking forward toward tomorrow to see if that is also the case there. And have a great rest of the evening, and speak to you soon.
Yep, thank you very much for the work. See you tomorrow.
All right, moving on to what is now the second place finish for Moksha inside of this fifth season. Yeah, you had quite the opportunity to maybe make it past Andy, but the timing really did not work out, and you wasted a bit too much of ES compared to him on the penultimate lap. So that was kind of out of the window. But you still had a great race, managed to stick with the top guys at the start, and then when there was a crash with Fellison and Russian Siri, Cem dropping back as well. You stayed with Andy, had good pace, and every call seemed to be going well. What was the missing part from your end, maybe that denied you the top step today?
Yeah, first of all, congratulations to Andy for championship. He well deserved it. Crazy season, really fast. Yeah, I think I didn't make any mistake today. I think I could have been more aggressive in the last laps. I think there were one or two occasions where I could have overtaken, but I didn't. And I think in the end, I had probably higher wings. It felt like it, and I was missing the straight line speed. So every time he pumped out the DRS on the straights, and even me with DRS, I couldn't get past him. So yeah, I felt I was partly maybe even in the first sector a bit faster, but yeah, overall I needed really to push to keep Andy on his push laps as he tried to escape the DRS window. And yeah, I was on my limit there. I was completely full throttle partly, and yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was certainly looking good from the outside, and obviously such a nice close fight with the that finest straight is always entertaining. In terms of strategy, obviously asking the same question to Andy earlier, what was your initial plan? Also, how undercuts evolve maybe throughout the race. Sometimes we have seen, especially in Jeddah last time out, where even people with the harder compound at the start opt to respond to someone who is maybe doing the undercut on a softer tire. Most like 17 people were on the soft at the start. Which tire options did you have for today, other than the strategy you maybe ran throughout the race for tonight?
I know that was exactly my strategy. I planned this. I was expecting Ferguson go for the undercut. I'm not sure what happened there. I think he ended up with 10 seconds there, or maybe to the crash. I didn't see that.
Both of
Um,
it. Both
yeah,
of it.
both of it. Okay. Yeah, no. In the end, it was exactly my strategy, and I wouldn't have gone for another one. Maybe if the medium tire will be done too much, maybe I would go for the second. But initially, I was trying the undercuts, and then yeah, go with the soft in the end.
Obviously, this poor race from Ferguson. Obviously means you two are probably gonna have a tussle. Is Miami one of your stronger tracks to throw it fast forward for next week? You're probably closer together now, and Andy is now completely out of reach. So Ferguson is probably not having his eyes so much on Andy anymore, which I think he wasn't, to be honest, beforehand. More focusing on his first race on PC. But yeah, you both had great seasons. You clinched the Constructors Championship already, and yeah, were the dominant team throughout Division One for this season. Is there a last fight in you to maybe beat him for second?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I would try everything. I know Miami is not one of his best, so maybe yeah. I mean, I practice anyways with him, so we can have it on the race in the practice, and then we will see what happened on Monday.
Okay, looking forward to that, and obviously good luck for you for tomorrow as well.
Bye bye.
Bye. Yeah, and third is probably the drive of the day. I have no idea that was gonna be happening for tonight, but Andrew, you came through from 19th on the grip with a third stop as well to going for that fastest lap, and he just kept that in the end. But you were certainly quick out there, made good use of your tires, and had amazing pace to go through a field on a track that isn't very known for overtaking. How was the race from your side, and what was that crucial mistake you had in qualifying?
Yeah, so in qualifying, I like to push the car on my outlaps to like feel where the limit is so I can know how to use the car on the flying lap. But I just misjudged it and I slid into a barrier and yeah, it was over.
Yeah, that obviously hurt you in terms of your starting position, but in terms of your race pace, you seem to be finding yourself comfortable and going for gaps and maneuvers out there. Do you had anything particularly planned in terms of strategy or how you wanted to approach this race? Obviously, being calm and collected obviously helps every time, and maybe if there's a safety car too, you can benefit from that. But you made that all on race pace. Is this one of your stronger tracks?
Yeah, it's probably like my best track or my second best on this track on this game. And yeah, I just felt comfortable in the race. The setup was great. Even though I had no practice, I had this setup that was great from a while ago, and there was no pressure. I don't fight in the championship, so I could just calm down, overtake when I could. It was like just keeping calm and going for gaps.
Yeah, certainly worked for you out there. Do you think, also regarding that, you said one of your strongest tracks that you could have been in a fight for the podium with the pace you had? Because obviously going through 16 other people is very difficult at times and costs you time as well with two stops. Do you think there was more in it rather than the third step on the podium here tonight?
Nah, no way. I mean, Andy's pace was crazy, so without the RS, I couldn't really do anything. And the only big mistake I can remember was I took out the driver in the last corner, and it affected his race a lot. So there might be penalties. So I can't really celebrate for the podium yet.
Okay, we'll look into that. Yeah, two more races to go in the season. You have previously raced at the Belgium Grand Prix for 13 points as well. Do you plan on coming back for next two races? And if so, what do you expect from Miami or from Silverstone?
I mean, I'm not sure I will race because the game is on its last legs, so I'm not really focused on it anymore. I'm just biased towards F1 25 from now onwards. But I might race because the two mandatory stops is great.
Okay. Then obviously congratulations again on your third place tonight, if it stays obviously, and yeah, hopefully see you in the next two if you enjoyed this mandatory two stop as well.
Thank you.
And that has been it from tonight's Dutch GP. We are going to be heading to Miami in 7 days' time, just the weekend after this Miami Grand Prix with a sprint weekend in real life, and then it's the finale with full qualifying in Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, and obviously the birthplace of Formula One, as we have known it now for 75 years. And he has taken the championship, to no one's surprise, I have to say, as I stated before. Only one race was P5, then there was one P4, and then a couple in P3 with fastest laps even. So yeah, he didn't lose too many points, over 300 in a season. Like, this is pretty impressive, and we have seen that from previous seasons. He has all the other championship next to me after my season 1 victory. So yeah, that's quite an achievement. Miami not his best track, so let's hope someone can challenge him, or someone is gonna be taking a win. And Williams are open to fight it. There's no team orders. Practice, yes, but on the track it might be something else. If you enjoyed this, make sure to leave this channel a follow. Tune in for Miami in 7 days time. Make sure to check out the YouTube channel, which is Silly Season Racing League, to see any other VODs. And I highly recommend you checking out this Saudi Arabian one from last time out with 2 driving penalties, and he still managed to win it. But it was absolutely insane and entertaining throughout the whole grid. Tomorrow I will be co-commentator again to G-Dave, and he is going to be bringing us to the second division race for tomorrow night, which is going to be at Netherlands 2, or at Zandvoort, I have to say. Have a great rest of your evening, and then see you next time for Miami. Good night. Ta-da.